Okay. So things are pretty off the rails already because, um, like, right as I was getting warmed up for this stream, turns out Magic the Gathering is doing its own little stream right now. It's their live showcase for their Final Fantasy stuff, and so I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and open with that. I mean, that wasn't really the plan, but yeah, that's almost kind of par for the course at this point. Is plans not going to plan? So let's check this out. Feature presentation. I don't really think this is necessary. Let's just go ahead and pop this off. And then we're going to go ahead and play it back. Because we got some... okay, well, first off, what we're going to do is we're going to turn my ceiling fan on because I am burning up. Alright, there we go. Okay, now... What? Yeah, so they're going over different cards for their Final Fantasy set, and I mean, if you know me, you know we're big fans of MTG and Final Fantasy, so was really looking forward to this. Looking forward to the set. I mean, I think I first caught whispers of this back in 2023, and I can't remember which came first, if I had already started brainstorming my own fan-made Final Fantasy set, or if I heard the announcement first and then that inspired me to then kind of start brainstorming it. Which is definitely going to be content coming up, by the way. I really got to get into, like, there's a website you can go to where you can make your own custom cards and print them up and play with them, and I think that'd be really cool. I got a lot of cards, though. So it might take a while to print them all up. Hold on, let me scoot this up. It would also help if, for once in my life, I remember to change the text. The text. Text. What the? I can't find it. Oh, it's way down here. Fantasy talk. Bam. Okay. And yeah, so some of these cards, we've talked about this on stream before. And some of these cards, maybe I've talked about them, maybe not. I can't remember. It's been a long time, so I'll just go over all the ones that they are showcasing here. We got Garland here to knock... His flavor text actually says knock you all down. Forgot about that. Okay, 3-2 for 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. That's pretty solid. And for 7, you can return them from your yard to the field transformed as a sorcery. And that phrasing, as a sorcery, always tripped me out because I take that to mean it becomes the card type sorcery. But no, it means with sorcery, like, timing. And that's thrown me off a few times. But he becomes Chaos the Endless, 5/5 flying, and when it dies, you put it on the bottom of its owner's library. That, I'm gonna be real with you, that sounds really, like, amazingly lame. 7 for a 5/5 flyer, and the only other upside it has, if you can even call it upside, is it goes on the bottom of your library. That's scuffed. I don't know about that. maybe it'll be a nice little bonus if Garland's Surveil ability lets you get another copy of Garland into the yard. Because, even though they're both different sides of the same card, they're both legendary, they've got different names, so you could have them both on the field at the same time, but it's just, I don't know, whatever. I don't know about that. And by the way they're doing this is they're doing this like game by game, so this is all like cards based on FF1. And we've got their weird take on Jobs, which is like a strange version of Living Weapon. I mean, I don't think that's the way most people would do it, but okay. So this is equipment that comes with like a free creature that it's attached to by default, just for free. And then it has, let's see, these both have equip 3. The staff has +1/+1 whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life and gives cleric typing. That is really, really lame. And then Black Mage's Rod. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, right? They're common cards as far as I can tell. And then the Rod, let's see, +1/+0. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent and gives wizard typing. Is it just me, or is one of these way better than the other? I don't know. White Mage is really taking the piss here. Like, the Rod would actually go really good in my mono black artifacts deck that I kind of showcased in a previous stream. That looks pretty spicy. Yeah, I'm actually really digging on that. Let's see, lots of talking. We got a card based on something that is... This is something that's not in Final Fantasy 1, but it's based on like famous Final Fantasy 1 concept art. And so now I guess it gets to actually exist. Oh, it's not even like an original thing. I just noticed that this is one of those like weird alternate name type things where the true name is Nyx Bloom Ancient. Uh, 7/5/5 trample. If you tap a permanent for Mammoth, Mana Bananas, Umbrella Ella A. Excuse me, a little muddled here. If you tap something for the mana, it gets like 3 times that much instead. Okay. That's cool. This thing already costs 7, so your ramp game should already pretty be on point. So you got to be ramping into something like epic beyond epic, like just big fat fireball or like big old Hydra, whatever. I mean, that's cool, I guess. I think this format is really ugly, though. I'm gonna be real. This where it's just text on top of art with no zoning, no compartmentalization, nothing to help guide the eye on how this is supposed to be read. It's just words just kind of floating. This format is just really bad. I don't like that. I wish they would stop making cards like that. But we got Furion now. He's red, makes perfect sense, and he's a rebel, also makes perfect sense. Alright, I'm digging on that. Nice art. Equipped creatures you control have haste. I like that. That's cool. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except it has a discount on equips. Any sacrifice at the beginning of the next upkeep. Okay. I suppose that's very red. They really are pushing like equipment is red for this set anyway. But my equipment deck, I'm pretty sure I showcased it on stream, but it's like mine is Azorius. It's white and blue. It's the exact opposite of red. So I guess I'll have to make a red equipment deck at some point. I've got Commune with Beavers. With the best flavor text ever. Guy speak beaver. That's an actual line from the game. Look at the top 3. You can take an artifact, creature, or land and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. Okay. Alright. That ain't too bad. For 1 green, and it's a common, that's fine. We're moving on to FF3 now. And this is actually something that I already caught on to. Like, when I first noticed that the stream was happening, I went ahead and read up on it. So, this is the Darkness Crystal from FF3. It's a legendary artifact. I have a problem with that right away, because it is literally the exact opposite of what makes sense. If you don't know, there's a rule of 4 in Magic the Gathering where you get to run 4 copies of any one card, as long as they're not playing a singleton format, no more. And there are 4 Darkness Crystals in Final Fantasy III. Legendary means you only get to run 1. Like, why? This is the opposite of what makes sense. This should most definitely not be a legendary artifact. Although, after reading this text box, I think you'll understand that if this were non-legendary, it would have to be costed way, way higher for the effects that it gives. Okay, so, let's see, legendary artifact. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If a non-creature token an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. Then you can pay 6 and tap this to put target creature card exile with the Darkness Crystal onto the field, tapped under you, with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. That is quite the toolkit, wrapped up in 1 little artifact. That is wild. And it's costed pretty efficiently. And that activated ability doesn't even require you to like sacrifice or exile the Darkness Crystal, which is what you might expect for an effect like that. That is wild. That is really strong, and again, very, very welcome in my mono black artifacts deck. And we got some alt art that's very pretty. That's big. Adventures in. When this land enters, you gain 2 life. Tap for 1 colorless. And I was reading text, and I was reading chat, and people were surprised that this doesn't enter tapped. Like, really? You're surprised about that? Like, okay, hold on a second. Camera, focus, please. Woo! Hello. Camera's already cheap and fuzzy as it is. You can't even focus. Come on, focus on my ugly ass hair. I did not put my hair up. I'm really schlubbing it today. There you go. Thank you. You know, it got around to focusing eventually. Man, I need a haircut. I look awful. At least I shaved. Yeah. Like, people were surprised that this doesn't enter tapped. Like, it's freaking better, man. This is a mid-ass land. All it does is give colorless, and when it enters, you gain 2 life. That is weak. And then we got the stream freaking out. Thank you for that. Okay. Sorry about the sniffling. I'm a little cooked right now. Don't know if you can tell, but yeah, these are cards that I'm pretty sure I've actually already talked about. Or I say cards. This is all 1 card with 2 sides and then alternate art. So Cecil is absolutely insane. For 1 black, you get a 2/3 legendary human knight with death touch. It does have a downside. When it deals damage, you lose that much life. Of course, there are plenty of decks that where this is not downside, Death Shadow. But then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it. And he becomes a 4/4. He's white. He has lifelink, and when he attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So this is the part that does not work with Death Shadow, because it only works when you attack, and you don't want to attack because you don't want to gain life because you are Death Shadow. So, bit of a flaw in that concept. You'll notice that darkness only kicks in when he deals damage, because it's when he deals damage, X, then if Y, do Z. So if he doesn't deal damage, but then you don't lose the life. So I don't know. I would have a hard time figuring out how to get the most out of this guy, but he already does a lot. Like, again, 1 black mana for a 2/3 with Death Touch, and then he gets to flip on a condition that's not hard to meet, and then he becomes this awesome thing where he protects all your attackers, and he has big lifelink. It does say other attacking creatures, so he doesn't protect himself, but like that's still pretty spicy. And they showed off Kane for the first time. I have a problem with that epithet, traitorous dragoon. Kane doesn't actually betray anyone ever at any point. I always thought that was like a weird thing about his character arc, was that he feels great guilt and shame for all the times he's betrayed people, but every time he's been under mind control, so it's not actually his fault, so it's not actually a betrayal. Jump during your turn. He has flying. That makes sense. When he deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kane. If they do, you draw that many cards, create that many tap treasure tokens, then lose that much life. So the plan here, obviously, is you play it close to the vest. You do not actually try to get in with this guy unless you have a plan to deal with him when he falls under the control of that player. Now I'm getting really cold and I need to turn my fan off. Okay, this guy's got a good cost, and he does need a little bit of a bill run. You need to have like a good flying blocker or some way to stop him from attacking once he's under someone else's control. Interesting. Then again, the whole losing that much life, this could be another like Death Shadow angle. So we got Gilgamesh. 6/6 for 6, Human Samurai. When he enters or attacks, look at the top 6. Grab any number of equipment, put them down, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. When you put one or more equipment on the field this way, you may attach one of them to a Samurai control. This is pretty cool. I actually did just recently shelve my Mardu Samurai deck because it was pretty weak, and unfortunately I don't think Gilgamesh is going to help with that. He is really expensive. But it's still a cool concept. I like him. I like to look at him, anyway. I don't think I'm ever going to play him. He's just going to be a card that I win. Well, I'm going to get the commander decks, I guess, and play with my dad and hopefully get it on stream. I've been thinking about that. I would have to get more cameras to get like all the coverage. I would need to be able to like film it top down to get everything. And I've only got 2 cameras right now. I got this little bugger right here who's going to be replacing this piece of crap real soon, because I really cheaped out on my webcam. I just grabbed what I could, and it's functional. I could be doing worse, but golly, it's really grainy. I don't know. I think once I get this set up, and the mic too. I already got my mic like bolted down back behind this monitor. So once I get going, it's gonna be this whole like Transformers affair where, look, I'll actually show it off. I'll give you a little sneak preview. I raise this up and my camera almost falls over. And then here we go. Check out this little party trick. If I can get it to work. What the? Hold on a sec. It's a little. Oh, this is what I had to do. I forgot that it can go up like this. So, bam. It swings around and knocks into everything and possibly damages my monitor. And I don't like that. But then, yeah. Nice, fancy neat. Check out the epic Dutch angle. Come on, camera. Come on. Come on. There. And then, okay, so this pop filter is a misbehaving little scoundrel. I just kind of borrowed it from somebody. Actually borrowed it from my dad because he wanted to make audiobooks. But it's, oof. I should probably invest in like a better pop filter because this is too loosey-goosey. Way too loosey-goosey. But yeah, it's pretty cool looking, pretty fancy. I mean, we'll see how well it does when I actually plug it in. And it's not even really that there's anything wrong with, you know, the old Snowball. It's just, I don't know. I feel a season of renewal coming on. I just felt like I want to switch up everything and get a fresh start. And now that my camera's way up here, I'm struggling to get like a camera angle that makes me happy. I'm going to have to think about that. Because this was really the best way I could figure out to get this in position. Even though it's really blocking my monitor and it's really hard to see what I'm doing. And any other way would be even more intrusive than it is now. I just can't figure out any way to do this that would not piss me off even more. This is really awkward. Not really a big fan. I may have to feel out different options for this. Because it totally blocking my monitor in like a huge way. Like the bottom left hand 25% of my screen, it's gone. I can't see it. Not that there's anything really important. Like I can lean over and I can see all my sources and stuff. But I don't know. I couldn't figure out a better way to do it. I really couldn't. Any other way, and it would just feel really, again, just really intrusive. With this way, when I fold it up, it goes back behind my monitor and is completely unintrusive. Almost, anyway. It does poke out a little bit, and it's in my peripheral vision, and that does bother me. But let's go ahead and tuck this back now. Playtime's over. Let's get back to talking about these cards. How did I even get to talking about my mic anyway? In the middle of me checking out all these new FFMTG cards. Okay, well now I'm probably going to have to fix my camera again. Ooh, that's too high. Actually, no, let's go ahead and tilt that up. Because I got to show you. I took those Cowboy Bebop figures and moved them up there, which I should flip the light on. Bam. Okay, now you can see marginally better. It was down here. Down. Come on. It was down here, but you can probably see I've swapped out my Cowboy Bebop cube. I swapped it out in preparation for my my DMC cube, because I had plans for more cubes. I wanted an FF10 cube, but then the Bahamut figure I got wouldn't fit. And the only other cubes I wanted to do, I was really considering a Big Trouble in Little China cube as well. But the more I tried moving things around, the more I realized I really just don't have the storage space at all to try and squeeze any more in here. This is already pretty much at capacity. So the Devil May Cry cube is now prepared in anticipation for my Dante figure, which should be showing up Monday. It was a bummer. Right before stream was starting, I actually saw the Amazon truck outside, and I was hoping I was going to get it just in time for a little unboxing stream, but nope. Nope, gotta wait till Monday if it shows up, because Amazon hasn't been performing lately. They totally lost my copy of Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness color version, so I had to get it elsewhere. And now they've lost my Death Note. Like, I got like a little prop Death Note to go on my little Death Note cube over here that you can't see. I'm not crying too much about it, though, because once I actually got the figure and I saw how big it is, and then I put the whole display together, it's already pretty jam-packed. I don't think I need anything else in there, so, you know, whatever. No crying over spilled milk. Anyway, yeah, this Gilgamesh. Got some alt art, which looks kind of scuffed, honestly. It gives him like a weird horse face. More talking. This one caught me off guard. This one caught me off guard in a big way, and here's why. Okay? Now, I've talked about this on stream before, but this is something I would do when I used to work in pizza delivery, and I would just sit around bored waiting for a new delivery to show up that didn't really have anything for me to do. I would just whip out the memo app on my phone and workshop my own Family and MTG sets. And so I've got my whole Final Fantasy set in here waiting for me to, run it through the website and print it out and make them into proper cards. And check this out. Right at the top, right there. Bartz and Boko. I actually called this one. Not that I can prove it. I don't think... Let me see. Is there like... Can I pull up information on this file? No. No, it would be nice if there was like... The last date it was modified. But yeah, I cooked that up a long time ago. From what you could see, though, it was like very different. My idea of Bartz and Boko was... Well, now I lost it. I gotta look for it again. No. He would have haste, and you could play an additional land on each of your turns. And if you had... What was like the gimmick that I came up with for the FF5 archetype? If you control 5 or more auras, he would have trample. And that was pretty much it. And maybe he would be cost a little cheaper than this. More like 3 or 2. And that's actually a recurring thing that I had for all of the Final Fantasy V main cast, because I have Lena and Ferris as one card. I have Galoof and Krié as one card. Krié. I always pronounced it Krié. Don't ask me why. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. This one has affinity for birds. A very bizarre concept for a green card. Although, I guess we do have Nadu. If you're running Nadu, then maybe you might have an affinity for birds. Or if, these, even though these are standard legal, they are still kind of tailor-made for Commander, and so I guess if you're running like Birds of Paradise or whatever, I would have to take a closer look at what archetype this is supposed to be a part of. But it says when it enters, each of the bird you control deals damage equals its power to target creature an opponent controls. I haven't really known birds to have a whole lot of power, though. Might have to look into my changeling options for that, because usually when I look at birds, I'm not wowed by how strong they are. Usually it's more about their text boxes. This is interesting. Each bird you control deals damage equals power to target creature. So they all gang up on one creature? Okay. Let's see, we got FF6, which is apparently Mardu coded. That is strange to me. I really would have picked Izzet. But let's see, 3/3, being a comment on your turn, mill 2 cards, targeting flying until end of turn. Whenever she... okay, so on Sabotage, you may pay 2. You may return target creature card with power 3 or less from your yard to the field, tapped. Okay. And I guess that plays into like the concept of FF6 going around the world of Ruin and reuniting all your old friends. Getting the band back together. We've got Valagarmanda with pretty epic art. He's got haste, and he has 4 chapters. So he actually gets to do plenty of attacking, unlike Shiva, who we checked out in an earlier stream. When he enters, you exile an instant sorcery from each graveyard. And then 2 through 4, you get to add a bunch of red. And you may also cast an instant or sorcery, exile with a saga, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. Alright. Something I like is that the red that you get, you can actually spend it on anything. And for anyone who doesn't know, these chapters fire off at the start of your first main phase, like a pre-combat main phase. So you'll get to hold on to this mana for that whole phase and spend it how you like, which is good. You don't have to spend it on the exiled instants or sorceries. And then we've got Terra again, and this Terra is gruel flavored, which that sounds bad. That sounds really bad. And again, it's really not what I would have expected. I would have absolutely pinned her as Izzet. But let's see here. 4/2 for 3. When she enters, mill some more cards. Put 1 enchantment card, mill this away into your hand. Okay. That's, I don't know. That doesn't sound too exciting. You notice how, like, everything is milling now? I don't know about that. That feels weird that they're handing out milling to just anybody. And then, yeah, eventually, when you can pay 6, you can tap and exile her and return her transformed as a sorcery. And then you get 6/6, where you get to create a token. So, Copy, target non-legendary, enchantment control, gains haste. But also, if it's a saga, put up to 3 lore counters on it. Sacrifice it. This is very clearly meant to be compatible with all the summon type cards that are sagas and also creatures. That's pretty obvious. Although that's weird. This is an effect that I would have pinned more on Yuna, because she's like the premier summoner. She's like the number one summoner, the one I think of off the top of my head when I think of great summoners in Final Fantasy. But they gave this to Terra. It is pretty cool how you can just dial in any chapter. And then 4, which is obviously epic and strangely formatted. It had 2 white and 2 blue and 2 black and 2 red and 2. It couldn't just say 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red, 2 green. They had to add little commas and stuff because I guess it wouldn't fit the format otherwise. Then you exile her and return her face up. Okay. That's a lot of setup. That is a massive amount of setup, honestly. This counts on you like you're playing what I consider to be a not at all impressive creature, and then you're counting on hitting an enchantment card, which you will probably want to be one of these summon type, saga creatures. So that plays into the other half of this card that you can't do until you've got 6 mana. And like the front face has no other upside. And then on this side, she's got flying but no haste, and you gotta exile her, so like she can't attack on the turn that you transform her. And then you gotta have the summon in play so that these chapters can pop off. And then if you wait long enough, then you can crack open this effect. Woo! This is a chock full card, and saga indeed, right? You're waiting a long ass time for each compartment of this card to crack open. I don't like that. This seems just massively open to any kind of disruption. Not a bit. Ooh, hold on a second. Oh no, I think they do show off what these cards do in English, so let me just fast forward. Okay, Kefka Court Mage. He's Grixis. I think that's fair. 4/5 for 5. When he enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. That is kind of cool. I like that effect. Then for 8, each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice. That's usually a pretty weak effect. But then you get to transform him as a sorcery. And then he's a 5/7 with flying. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. That takes a little bit of setup for a card that is already massively expensive. Like, you're paying 13 mana to get the full effects of this card. I also feel like this has the same problem that Chaos does, where the front face is already like this right here, a 4 or 5 for 5 that does this. That's already, I think that's kind of cool. I don't think I would invest very much in Kefka Ruler of Ruin. I think I put all my coin in Kefka Court Mage. So I don't know about these double face cards. Sometimes it feels like the payoff is kind of weak. And I already don't care very much for double face cards just because I'm old fashioned like that, and I don't like having to like fiddle with my cards at all with proxies or even sleeves. Really, you saw me whip out my decks in a previous stream that did not have sleeves because I'm really not too worried about collector value. I just like to play the game, and I like it when there's not too much muss or fuss. I like cards that are easy to read. They don't have too much literature on them, which, hey, speaking of which, holy crap, we've moved on to FF7 and got Traveling Chocobo. Look at all this text. 3-2 for 3. You look at the top card of your library at any time. Lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library. Land or bird you control enter the field causes a trigger, but you get to do it again. Okay. And also there's like a whole bunch of them. This is what they're showing off here. There's ones in different colors. Different colored art. They're all green creatures. But, yeah, that's kind of weak. Because I'm pretty sure I came up with my own little cycle of hold on, let me scroll down. Yeah, you'll get to see more of this when I actually do my episode where I showcase, the cards when they're finished. But I have like a whole cycle of chocobos cooked up right here, where there's the fat chocobo, blue chocobo, black, yellow, and green, and they all have their own little effects. They're very basic creatures, not chock full the way these are, the way that far too many modern MTG cards are. But yeah, I think they're serviceable. They are pretty. I do like them. It is strange that they do not have, they're all the different colored chocobos, but they don't have really any special effects. If anything, you'd think blue would have Island Walk, because, this is FF7 and FF7 blue chocobos. I think in Final Fantasy 9, too. They can go over shallow water, and green can go over mountains. And red, I don't think anything special about them. But black has both qualities of green and black chocobos. So you'd think this would have Island Walk, this would have Mountain Walk, and this would have both. I know they don't really do that anymore, but whatever. Screw it. I'd rather it be more accurate to what it's supposed to be. And then they've also got the gold one. That's limited print. Thanks for that. And it doesn't have the text, so it's the worst one. You would have to look up what it does, because it does a lot. We've got, ooh. Hey, hold on a second. They've already shown off, 2 different versions of Cloud. Now there's a third one. I mean, that doesn't necessarily surprise me. Obviously, Cloud's the most popular, but let's see. I do have a problem with the fact that his creature type includes Soldier, which, that's a little bit of a spoiler on why I might object to that, since he probably proclaims he's First Class Soldier, or ex-First Class Soldier, but, okay, let's see, 2-1 for 2. When he enters, search for an equipment, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. That's pretty cool. That's actually amazingly cool. And as long as he's equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. That's... wow. Oh, wow. I need this. I need this. I was already gonna put Frodo in my Azorius equipment deck, so it's gonna be Frodo and Cloud teaming up with Swords of X and Y, going ham on everybody. This makes me very happy. I don't know why he's white, though. That seems strange. It doesn't seem very... I thought he'd be green. But then green doesn't do anything with equipment. I don't know. And then, oh boy. Oh boy, the Buster Sword. What's this text box about to look like? Oh, are they not going to reveal it? Are they not even going to do it? No? I don't have sound on, by the way. Because I can read. I don't need to hear these goofballs jibber jabber. We've got art spoilers. Wait, what am I looking at? What am I actually... Ooh. That's cool. That's some wild art right there, man. Oh, is that supposed to be like young Sephiroth? And then older Sephiroth, and then Bizarro Sephiroth, and then Seraph Sephiroth? But this design is wild because he's got both his arms. And then like weird extra stuff going on. This is a weird design. It's cool. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. Oh boy, here come the text boxes. Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. It's another double-faced card, so get ready for disappointments. If the other double-faced cards are any indicator, this is going to be really, really mid. They might go the extra mile just because it's Sephiroth, though, so let's read up. 3/3 for 3. When he enters or attacks, he may sacrifice another creature if you do draw a card. Okay. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. This is the 4th time this ability is resolved this turn. Whenever another creature dies. Not necessarily one that you control, so, okay. I read it again, and this isn't as hard to crack off as I thought. So this is the 4th time. The 4th time. Is there meaning to that? I'm trying to think of every time that Sephiroth has had a hand, like a direct hand in someone dying. There was President Rufus and Eris, and let's see. I mean, he didn't finish off the song, but he did like seriously wound him. And then who else? Tifa. He attacked Tifa, and but then he also attacked what's his name, Zack. So those 3, those were not fatal wounds, so they don't count. So I'll just count Cloud's mom, and we need a fourth one. I'm not thinking. I'm trying to figure out why they made it 4. I'm trying to think of 4. I'm trying to remember everyone in Sephiroth's body count. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but okay. But yeah, when 4 of them go down like this, transforms. He gets flying. He's a 5/5. He's a nightmare. Angel Nightmare Avatar. What a type line. As this creature transforms, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's not really how Supernova works. Supernova is a gravity type attack that puts everyone in it. How does it work again? I think it does a 30 seconds of each character's life. So everybody's down to 1/30. I would have thought that Supernova would be like creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1 until end of turn or something like that. It's weird. This is another one of those rare non-walker cards that gives you an emblem, by the way. Uh, whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures. If you do draw... Man. How many creatures are you going to be cranking out? This dude is really into tokens. Uh-oh, we got Eris coming in, which they've misspelled once again. 2/2 for 3, life link. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on misspelled creature. When misspelled creature dies, put X +1 counters on each legendary creature you control, equal to the number of +1 counters on a misspelled creature. Huh. Okay, so it's Microstream with extra steps. Eh. It's okay. A little slow, a little clunky. We got 2 different versions. This one I've already seen, Tifa Martial Artist. Melee. I wonder if that ability has come up on another card. I can't remember. She attacks, gets +1 until end of turn. +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat. And whenever one or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, there's an additional one. It's okay. 4/4 for 4. It has kind of a weird, clunky ability that's very tailor-made for Commander. I think the ones that have a chocobo as their little symbol, I think those are not standard legal. Huh. That's weird. It's harder and harder for me to evaluate a card when it just has so much literature that I gotta parse. But, like, whatever. This certainly is a magic card. I think this one's gonna be more my speed. 2 for a 1/2 with trample. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power until end of turn. That's much more simple. Much, much more simple. I like that. I like this card. It's just very, very unfortunate that all 4 of these cards, all 4 artworks are based on what I consider to be the vastly inferior Tifa design from FF7 Remake. You couldn't even give us one classic Tifa without the dumb, giant sports bra that's bigger than her tank top and the weird over-designed gloves. And, she got less leg meat on display. Just, super censored up, super toned down, super not the Tifa that I grew up with. Why did you have 4 cracks at this and you won't give us the Tifa that I think a lot of us are looking for? Hey, you gotta have 4 artworks and they're all the same design. You wouldn't even put her in like her dress or something? Or like her cowboy outfit? You have 4 different versions of Tifa with no variety in terms of artwork. That is, and considering how much people love Tifa, love Tifa, as they should, she's best girl. They would have really, I'm pretty sure they would have really liked to see her in different outfits. That's a major misstep. I don't like that. This one, pretty sure I've already seen. Pretty sure I still don't like the fact that Soldier's in his type line. 4/4 for 5, haste. When he enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to it. Whenever he attacks, draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control under Cloud has power 7 or greater, create 2 treasure. Yeah, it's okay. Weird collars for, equipment. But then I guess that's what this is all about, so all these cards would just they're designed to work together. Oh boy, it's everyone's least favorite main character, Mr. Whatever himself. Squall Seed Mercenary. He's white-black for some reason. I actually had him as red-black. Human Nightmare. In what? No, sorry. In what way is he a knight? The way I see it, he's just a straight-up mercenary. You're just crowding this type line for no reason. 3/4 for 4. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. Okay. You know, because he's white and black, he might actually work in my Mardu Samurai deck, because it's got a lot of, like, whenever a Samurai or Warrior you control attacks alone. So this is a way to stick double strike onto those guys. On Sabotage, return target permanents worth 3 or less from your yard to the field. That's pretty cool. I actually like that. I really don't like Squall as a character, but he actually wound up having a pretty fire magic card. So let's see what... It's a Doge. When she enters, create the Doge. Whenever she attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. You neglected to mention the part where she loads the dog onto her weird, like, wrist-mounted crossbow thing and fires it at you like a ballistic missile. Okay. That's whatever. That's a card. Let's see. Oh boy, it's another double face card. Let's see how disappointing this one is. Whenever she enters her attacks, Travail 2, she's a 4/5 for 5. Beginning of her end step, you may pay a freaking ridiculous amount of mana and exile 8 cards from your yard to transform her. Well, she's Demir, so getting cards into your yard shouldn't be too hard, especially since she's surveilling a boatload. Then she becomes a 7/7 with Menace, and when this creature transforms to Ultimacia Omnipotent, take an extra turn after... Okay, that's pretty cool. This one's actually not bad, and it's got pretty cool artwork as well. Although this art of Ultimacia doesn't show off the cool quirk where this weird Eldritch Abomination isn't actually Ultimacia. She's like this weird, like, thing hanging down from the bottom like a tail. So I figure now we're going to crack into FF9. We got Kuja. Black-red. That makes sense. I'm not going to pose that too much. Hold on a second. Gotta mute myself for this. Ugh. Okay, where were we? Alright, Kuja. Human mutant wizard. He's not really a human at all. He's really a wizard. He's more like a mercenary. 3/4 for 4. A lot. You notice that? All of these, you're mostly paying for the text boxes. Almost all of these creatures, the body to mana cost ratio is on the low end. Or high end. Not a lot of body for a lot of mana. So on your end step, create a 0/1 wizard with whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Does 1 damage to each opponent. Then if you control 4 or more wizards. Oh boy, we got another Transformer. Yeah, but unlike that, they are not more than meets the eye. They're usually less than what meets the eye. Transkuja 4/6. A wizard you control will deal damage to a permanent player instead. It deals double that damage. Okay. Whatever. That's a card. And not too excited. One or the other. Shidan Tribal, whatever. And oh man. Don't even get a real Shidan card. It's just Ragavan again. And this isn't gonna help with the Ragavan problems, by the way. People want reprints of Ragavan so he can stop being expensive. This is just an even more expensive version of Ragavan. That's also really ugly. Really? You're printing it like this? This looks like a fan-made... Like, where's the background? Why is it, again, just plain text on art? Nothing to help compartmentalize the text. There's not enough space in between the lines. Nothing to make this more readable. No actual text boxes. Nothing. This sucks. This really sucks, and I don't need to read it. We all know what Ragavan does, okay? Vivi, however, I think they did Vivi pretty good. I'm already really liking what I'm looking at right here. That is good art. That's a good collars for him. Although I just, as a circumstance of trying to make each game its own archetype, I made him green. Just because I had a really hard time finding a niche for FF9. Given that blue-red was already obviously given up to 6 at that point, like if I had to choose between the two of those games, which one should be is it archetype, it would obviously be 6. But he looks good. His colors are good. He's a 0/3. What is this activated ability? For 0, add X mana in any combination of blue and or red where X is Vivi's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1 counter on him, and he deals 1 damage to each opponent. This is a very interesting addition to the usual is it spellcaster archetype. It's pretty cool. I like this. I mean, I've taken many cracks at Is It Spellcaster and failed every single time. So at this point, I think it's just not for me, and I don't think Vivi's going to change that. But I still think he's pretty cool, even if I'm personally probably not going to play him. Okay, and then we've got Fire Magic. Tiered, choose 1 additional cost. 1 additional cost. Okay, so for 0, you get Fire. This is an interesting way to do this. You know, when I came up with, like, instants and sorceries, I just called them, like, the Ga version, like Firaga. But this lets you dial it in. So for no additional cost, just the 1 red mana, deals 1 damage to each creature. Okay. For 2 extra, 2 damage to each creature, and then for 5, 3 damage to each creature. Okay, alright. Respectable card, honestly. I can't sneeze at that. Now we're already on to 10. I think I did read this, but I'm going to need to refresh my memory. Brotherhood looks a little different, though, in the art. It's got like a little heart on it. Huh. Okay, 3/3 human warrior. He's these type lines. As a big Final Fantasy fan, I take issue with a lot of these type lines because, spoiler alert: Titus isn't human. He's not. And he's Bant flavored. That's pretty close to what I had. I had him as Azorius. Like, FF10 was my Azorius archetype. See, 3/3 at the beginning of combat your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. Cheer, whenever one or more creatures you control counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. Okay, that's a card. Some of these just are not exciting, and I don't have a lot to say about them. Usually, the ones that have lots and lots of text. I have a lot of trouble evaluating how good they're going to be, just at a glance. Okay, Yuna, Hope of Spira. That's cute artwork. She's got Valfor with her. I really like that. Her other artwork also cute. She is super adorable in both of these cards. She's the 3/5 for 5. They're really dialing back on like the size of these creatures in comparison to their costs. During your turn, Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have Trample, Lifelink, and War 2. That's quite the toolkit that she's handing out there. I actually did predict that she would have an interaction. Let me look up my Yuna and see how she behaves. Like, I cooked this up a long time ago, by the way. I do not remember how some of these work. Ooh. Ooh, you know what? I did not actually have Yuna as a legendary creature. I just had Summoner. And it just says enchantment creatures. And like these are just like very quick notes that I made. So I would have to like I would have to go through this again to figure out what I meant by that. I think just the idea, yeah, whatever. Anyway, at the beginning of your end step, return up to one target enchantment card from your yard to the field with finality counter on it. And gotta refresh my finality counter into a yard from the. Hold on a sec, this is trying to tell me something. It's just the usual bit rate nonsense. Okay. Yeah. This is good. I like this card. I like this card. I can tell that it's good. Not too complicated. Bahamut. Oh, yes. I am beside myself with happiness on this one. You know, finally. Hold on a sec. Finally, we got the boy. We got the boy pulling up the best version of Bahamut. They knew that it had to be this one. Freaking epic. It's just too bad that the epic artwork of the epic creature design is super, super crowded by all these text boxes. That's kind of a bummer. But how else would you do it? Oh. And we finally got a proper Bahamut card after D&D totally screwed us on that with their stupid Grandmaster of Flowers BS. 9/9 flyer. And chapters 1 and 2 destroy up to one target non-land permanent badass. On 3, draw 2 cards, and then Mega Flare. This creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. He costs 9, and he's colorless. So, Bahamut's trying to hang out with the Eldrazi crowd. Very interesting. Huh. Well, this is just cool. Like, yeah, he's super duper expensive, but he is just so freaking cool. And I like his final chapter. That is an interesting way to do that. Yeah, this guy's great. I totally, absolutely dig on him. And then Xanarkand, Ancient Metropolis. It's a land with an adventure. So for 6, you can make one of these weird 1/1 colorless heroes. Put +1/+1 counter for each land you control. They've been doing some of this. I thought they'd said they didn't like the dimes on pennies approach, or whatever they call it, where it's like tokens on top of counters, or counters on top of tokens rather. Okay. You may play the land later from his house. Okay, it enters tapped and then tapped to add green. Oh. The actual land part of this land is profoundly boring. And why is it green? You know, when I think of Xanarkand, I think of lots of water. I really thought this would have been blue. This is weird. I don't know about this. But it's got a good quote. It's got a city dead for 1,000 years, the end of Yuna's journey. There was room for more, though. I would have liked if they had gotten the whole quote in. And then we move on to the Final Fantasies that I don't care about. I really only care about the classics. And Final Fantasy XI, I haven't played it at all. This is also kind of funny because this is based on, like, even without playing Final Fantasy XI, I know this is based on a creature that is famously unbeatable. Every time players have managed to BS a W on this creature, the developers will just patch it out and say, no, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. I'm like, frickin', then what is? Why don't you frickin' drop a hint about it? And, yeah. Can be countered. Flying. You have protection from each of your opponents. What? So, in case it wasn't obvious, start packing removal. Really. Stop not having removal in your decks. Whew. I mean, to be fair, this guy costs 8, so... Yeah, plenty of time to see this coming, but... Dang. What an effect. Let's see, we've got... Dragoons, Wyvern, 2/1 flying. When the centers, create a hero. Okay. It's got a quote from someone I never heard of. Shantoto. I know this character's in Dissidia. That's about all I know. So, these cards, I have little to no expectations for them. A 0/4 for a 3, so this text box better be freaking epic, right? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, she gets +X/+0 until end return, equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. X is 4 or more, draw a card. Okay. Not based on mana value. Just mana spent. So there's a good side and a bad side to this. One side is... the bad side is anything where you cheat it into play. She doesn't benefit from that at all. But if it's something with X in its value, then it can do something. This actually makes me think she should be like riding on Hinata, Dawn Crown or whatever it's called. Since that creature is into stuff with X in its cost and like targets a bunch of stuff, and then FF12, and the only one I really care about is Fran. But so very happy that she shares it. Why isn't she tall? Fran's supposed to be freaking ridiculously tall, way taller than Balthier, and she's. Is she in the background? Is that like the cop? Yeah, she's in the background. That's the cop out. But like, I want to see her. I want to see her towering over Balthier, and by Balthier I mean me. I want to be Balthier. I want to be Balthier so I can be with Fran. Let's see. 4-3 for 3 reach vehicles. Okay, so that's the ball that you have. Vehicles you control get +1/+1, and have vigilance and reach. Okay. Whenever a vehicle crewed by both your friend this turn attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, we pay 3. There's an additional combat phase. Okay. If a vehicle crewed by both your friend this turn attacks. Interesting. It's a very interesting and very specific sort of interaction with itself. And now, of course, I'm looking forward to a Star Wars MTG set where Han and Chewie are just this again. Like, it'll say Han and Chewie, and then in quotes it'll say, but it's actually Balthier and Fran because, Final Fantasy 12 is a huge ripoff. Imperial City of Arcades, which I barely even remember. This is one of the latter day Final Fantasy games that I played that I have played. I just really, really do not care. What's up with this artwork, by the way? Sky down here looks very flat. Oh, it's just Wall of Omens. Okay. Whatever. Wall of Omens is pretty cool, though, so I don't mind that. And it's Final Fantasy 12, so I don't care. And then blah, blah, blah. Final Fantasy 13. Haven't played this game. Let's see. Lightning Army of One. 3-2 for 3 with First Strike and Trample and Lifelink. I like that. I like my keywords. Stagger. Once you okay, so on sabotage until your next. I wish they would keyword sabotage effects as just sabotage, so I don't have to read this whole when they deal combat damage to a player. Until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. This feels very much tailor-made for Commander, even though I'm pretty sure it's standard legal. That's pretty cool. That's a cool card. I like it. And then, what? Oh, right. This is something I know from having watched Spoonie's review of Final Fantasy 13, is that these two actually do meld. These two creatures. They represent two halves of Ragnarok. Okay, whenever one or more cards leave your yard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This ability triggers all... I hate that. I hate every time that happens. Every time you read an epic ability and then right at the end they hit you with the gut punch of just, oh, by the way, not really. Like, huge disclaimer, this epic ability that you just read about is not even remotely as exciting as you first thought. Like, lead with that, please. Instead it should just say once on each of your turns, when you draw one or more cards, or one or more cards leave your yard, you draw a card, you lose. Don't do it like this. I hate that. I hate that formatting. Okay, and then Vanille. When she enters, mill 2 cards, then return a permanent card from your yard to your hand. A 3-2 for 4, and then Fangs a 2-3 for 3. In terms of body, Final Fantasy is really depowered. At the beginning of your first main phase, you both own and control Vanille and a creature named Fang, Fearless Sea. You pay 5. If you do, exile them, then meld them into Ragnarok Divine Deliverance. And then here we go. They become Big Chungus. 7/6 Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Haste. When she dies, destroy target permanent. And return target non-legendary permanent card from your yard to the field. That's pretty much what you expect. Just big, awesome creature. It better be awesome because the individual halves of this melded creature, not too excited about either of them. And then more that I don't care about, and it's kind of freaking out on me. Little Brandon Manderville, legendary human detective. He's got an adventure where he can make a zombie. But he is a 2/2 for 2. Tokens get +1/+1. When he dies, you may cast it from your yard as an adventure until the end of your next turn. That's cool. No, I like this guy. He's okay. Then this is Y'shtola, another character I've never heard of. 2/4 for 4 with vigilance. Let's see what the rest of this text box says, because that's really lame. Beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 more life this turn, you draw a card. Okay. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Y'shtola deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. This is not a very exciting card. I'm not big into this. And that's the one that's on the front of these commander boxes. Wow. That's how you're going to sell this, huh? Okay. Now what's this? Y'shtola rule. 3/5 for 6. Okay. What do we got for text box? Beginning of your end step, exile target creature control, return to the field under the owner's control. Then if it's the first end step of the turn, there is an additional end step after this step. What? What? This is weird. I don't know too many ways you could synergize with this. Not off the top of my head, anyway. I'm sure someone else more big brain than me can figure that out, but no. This is bad. This is a bad card. I'm sure someone will find a way to break it and prove me wrong, but just reading this, that sounds absolutely off. Hold on a second. Excellent. Maybe with these summon type creatures, maybe. I don't know. You get to buy back their chapters. That's a specific thing, though. Okay, so 5/3 for 6. But you get to destroy target creature and opponent controls. Yay. And then Zontescan, this creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. That player loses the game. That's not likely to happen because he's a 5/3 where you spent 6 mana for him. And you gotta wait for him to be able to attack. Ooh. You better have some strap-on evasion ready for this dude. Or else he's going to do a whole lot of nothing. That second chapter is going to be useless most of the time. And then on 3, you draw 2 cards each player. This sucks. This is a bad card. I don't like this at all. Why is it called Primal Odin? This is like a 14 thing. Because we're doing 14 cards right now. And then pretty art for a sucky card. Yeah, this is bad. Summoner's Grimoire. It's got a job select. A creature is a shaman and has, whenever this creature attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand on the field. If that card is an enchantment card, it enters tapped and attacking. It has equip 3, but it also says Abraxas. What does that mean? Is that like a 14 thing I don't know about? Huh. Okay, that actually seems insanely powerful. Okay, maybe not insanely, but it costs 4. It costs 4, and you gotta wait to be able to attack with them, unless you pay another 3. And at that point, you're paying 7. Should probably be able to, like, actually get something useful out of this card at that point. And even then, you really want something that costs more than 7? Okay, whatever. Zodiark. Umbral. That is not the Zodiark that I know. Like I said, I played FF12, but I guess this is FF14, so he comes back and he looks like this now. He looks like... Really, he looks more like Vegnagun. He's got cool-looking laser beams coming out of him, though. I wonder what this guy's story is. 5/5, indestructible. Costs 5 black mana. Golly. When he enters, each player sacrifices half the non-god creatures they control their choice rounded down. Man, this guy's got some serious aura. And whenever a player sacrifices another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Zodiark. I don't know if this is a good card, but this is a cool card. I like him. I would experiment with this guy. Okay, and then another creature I don't know. 3/4 for 4 spells you cast from your yard cost 2 less to cast. That is cool. Whenever one or more opponents lose life, you may cast target instant sorcery from your yard. That spell would be put into your yard exile instead. Do this only once each turn. I really hate that. Okay, whatever. He's whatever. And now we're doing 15. Oh my gosh. This is my first time seeing this. Right there. Right there. I already had Noctis as Esper. White, blue, black. I called that. How did I do that? Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And you gotta take my word for it. I did not see this before. This is my first time. I came up with that way in advance. Obviously, this is not at all how I imagined it working. My version was you get like a payoff for if you control 15 or more permanents. Where you get to... Where if an aura would go into the graveyard, you just get to put it back in your hand. And it makes him... Like, he can attach equipment at instant speed. And then he gets a buff if you control 15 or more permanents, because that was what I did for that set, was I based everything off the numbers. So let's see what this guy's deal is. 4/3 for 4 lifelink. You may cast artifact spells from your yard by paying 3 life in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that artifact enters with a finality counter on it. I don't like the finality counter, but I mean, that's still pretty cool. I guess it needs the finality counter, though, because otherwise they would just be broken beyond broken. There would absolutely be ways to just pull off insane infinites with this. Maybe if there's a way to get rid of the finality counter, I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. That's a... Hold on a second. I gotta look this up. Where's my... What's it called? Isn't it called, like, Hex... whatever? Come on, Scryfall, don't fail me now. Hex Parasite. Hex... Okay, please load. Scryfall is being super slow right now, by the way, for some reason. Maybe I can just read it here. So 1/1 and Phyrexian Insect for 1. You can pay X and 1 Phyrexian Black to remove up to X counters from target permanent. For each counter removed this way, he has +1/+0 until end of turn. That would be a way to do it. That would be a way to do it, and I already have that card, so I'm seeing some epic synergy right there. And for some reason, the stream started playing again when I wasn't looking at it. That was dumb. So you put those two together, you got a winning combo. anything where you sacrifice it for something cool, especially if there's a way where when that happens you gain life back, you're set. That big combo potential for this boy. Let's see what else we got. Yes, YouTube is in full screen now. I've noticed. Thank you. I'm trying to read. Arden the Usurper. 4 for 8. Oh boy, what is this text box gonna be? Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and a Haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature from a yard. Exile a card this way, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 5/5 black demon. That's a cool effect, but I'm not... Oh yeah, he did have like a thing where he could like turn dudes into demons. Because he ruined that one character that people liked. We got one more though. We got FF16. We got one more. Clive. What a name for a Final Fantasy protagonist. Clive. 5/5 for 6. When he enters, you may discard your hand and draw cards equal to your devotion to red. Interesting. And for 6, untap, you exile him and return him transformed as a sorcery, and he turns into one of these summon type dudes. 9/9. So when he enters, if it fights up to 1 other target creature, and he's probably gonna win because he's a 9/9. And then 2 and 3, you get to have 4 red mana, and if it has 3 or more lore counters on it, exile it, then return it face up. Yeah, this ain't too bad. Again, in the minority of these double face cards that doesn't just crush me on an absolutely disappointing level. And then prices, whatever. I will be buying these. I just will. So I'm not worrying too much about that. And then, and what? Just cool graphics. And, oh! They've actually got more. Oh, this is... See, I had Sid as a planeswalker. Because the same way that Urza looks different every freaking time you see him. That's what Sid is like. And I understand that these Sids, strictly speaking, are different characters. But whatever. That was my way of doing that. So, this is the first one, eh? Artifact... Okay, he's a 4/4 for 4, human artificer, of course. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer in your yard. Wow. And a deck can have any number of cards named Sid Timeless Artificer. Because I was about to proclaim my disappointment that you can only have 4 of them. Not true. Okie dokie. And he also has cycling for 1 white. This guy's pretty cool. This guy's really cool. I like him. He is a cool dude. And if you... Yeah. So that last one, I don't remember which one he's from. I think that might have been the one from 2. This is the one from 3. He wasn't he in 1? I don't remember. But these are all the same. It's just different art. So there's the one from 3. There's one from 4. Looking great. That's the one where he jumps down with like a big exploding thing to seal off the underworld. There's the one from 5. Which, by the way, if you've watched the anime, oh my gosh. Bizarre fate in store for that guy. There's one from 6 with a stupid looking banana coat. There's one from 7. Oh man, so much aura right there. Oh my gosh. There's one from 8 where he just looks like Robin Williams with a giant chin. Can't get over how Robin Williams coded he is. And then this guy's freaking Whitebeard coded. Like, what is that? And then there's Sid looking like freaking Bruce Willis. And assumedly Sid from 11. Don't really know him. Don't really remember the one from 12. Wow, that's Sid. One of these is not like the other. This guy does not have the same vibe as any of these other dudes. Most of them are like cool old guys. That one's just like a Bishi. Similarly, the one from 14 that I don't know. And then there's the one from 15. And then the one from 16 that I also don't know. Wow. And you are absolutely meant to collect all of these. Yep. People are going to be collecting these and selling them as a set all over the place. That is cool. I like that. That's a tough build, though. Because you try and cram all these dudes in, and then you try to make room for all of your heroes and artifact creatures. That's going to take some brainstorming. But I'm actually proud of what they came up with for Sid. That's cool. Not sure how well it's going to work, but boy, did they try. Okay, and let's just make this so this is live now. Oh, did it just end? Are you serious? It just ended right then and there? Really? Yeah, okay, wow. Wow, great timing there. So that was fun. There were some stinkers to be sure, but there was some other stuff that was really, really cool. And I really got to get to work on my own Final Fantasy MTG set because I kind of wanted to be into the punch and clock's ticking. Actually, I gotta... Oh man, Scryfall timed out. Let me refresh my memory. Final Fantasy drops June 13th. Oh boy, I got my work cut out for me. If I want to make that content happen, I gotta do it like pretty soon, and it's really hard because, you know, not only my other work, but also like I was gonna open this up talking about, if the title of the stream didn't give it away, I've been sick every month of this year, and this makes month number 5 where I've got strep throat again, and that's really rough. I'm a lot better than I was when I decided that I was going to make this a micro stream, and some micro stream. I'd spend 2 hours, or no, it's been it's almost 3, so yeah, almost 2 hours. Haven't even gotten to the subject of this stream yet. I plan for this to be a micro stream where I just read One Piece and that's it, because I was feeling super duper cooked yesterday, and I'm still pretty cooked right now. I got the congestion and my throat's kind of funny, and I got the coughing and the hacking and the phlegming and the yeah. And maybe drinking soda isn't the healthiest thing to do when you're sick, but I need the bubbles to kind of soothe down here, which is why I also need to get some ice cream. I got a chocolate milkshake from a local place just yesterday, getting off of work, and oh boy, that was such a life-giving elixir. Feeling the way that I was. But yeah, also really exhausted. I'm pretty low energy right now. And not the same fatigue that I was feeling yesterday. This is just like I didn't go to bed until like 2:30 last night. And then for some bizarre reason, I woke up at around 8:30 this morning, so I only have 6 hours of sleep in me. On top of all my symptoms. So I'm fighting through all that, and the way it usually is I try to write it out, maybe take whatever medication I have lying around at home, leftover prescriptions or over the counter stuff, and just try to tough it out as best as I can. But like, things aren't the way that they used to be. Once upon a time, like maybe like 4 years ago, the way I was I would get sick once, maybe twice a year. And then 1 week later, I would bounce back full force. And maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it's gotten to where it is a very different story, where I still don't get very sick. I don't get sick very often, but when I do, I will stay that way for a week. And then I will slowly improve over the course of the next week. And then, even then, still for like another 2 weeks, I will have lingering symptoms. And now it has progressed even further to the point of full-on chronic illness, where as soon as I get over one illness, I'm sick again, and the whole thing starts over. And it is really, really oppressive. It's really messing with my morale in a really, really bad way. So I'm not in a good place right now, trying to do my best. And I accidentally picked up something on OBS and started dragging it around. I need a new mouse. That's part of my whole like plan for renewal, right? The new camera and the new mic. I also got a new mouse that I'm gonna try out, same as the old one. I just really like this mouse. As many faults as it has, I don't want to change. So in another like 2 or 3 years, I'm probably gonna need another mouse. Not change this keyboard though. This keyboard rules. In fact, I meant to show this off. Check this out. I finally updated it. It's got it. Okay, so I can't actually pull it up because the cable's kind of pinned. So let me just angle this down real quick. And it's a good thing that I've cleaned up around here a little bit, because this was nasty before. Check it. Ooh, don't fall down. Don't fall down. Okay, check that out. I got the new Cross H Productions colors going on. And it's falling down because the little kickstand is funny. Yep. This is... Hold on a sec. Let me do this. Oh, whoops. That's not the thing I meant to do. That almost ruined everything. No, that's not it. This is it. Hello? So, hello? Mouse. Okay, so here it is. This is the way that it looked before. When we were like Cross H Productions 0.1 with the seafoam green mixed in. Right there. And then this is the new one where I tagged out the green for violet. Looking pretty sweet. I really did. I meant to come up with a new intermission screen to go with all the violet, but I was not able to pull it off in time. I've been busy with other stuff, not the least of which is trying to get over these freaking symptoms. So, like I was saying, usually I'll just try to tough it out with whatever medication I happen to have on me. But this time I was not having it. I was super fed up, and I just wanted to nip it in the bud. So as soon as I could, Freaking as soon as I could, like less than 24 hours after symptoms start to fire up, I went right into the clinic to do what I could. Because I was feeling it just a little bit on Thursday, and then over the course of that night going into Friday morning, it turned into a whole other kind of beast. Where I was just hacking and coughing and just horrible. And yeah, that's my rationale behind wanting to make this a MICROSTREAM. Even though... Because I really did not want to cancel. I really didn't. Not when I already canceled last stream because I foolishly forgot that it was already Golden Week, and so there was no One Piece. And when it's Golden Week, they don't announce that it's on break because it's not One Piece. It's like a technicality. One Piece isn't on break, but Shonen Jump is. So it's no One Piece either way. Whatever. Let's just get into the new One Piece, okay? Excuse me. Which, very little buzz about this chapter. Very little buzz, and so I know very, very little about it. All I know is that this artwork is kind of rough. Like, what are these proportions going on with Speed? She looks like a hot dog on sticks. And Otama's looking very scuffed. Everybody's looking scuffed. What is going on here? Okay, more of this that I don't really care about. On the way to Hakamai to deliver to Kawamatsu the hat entrusted to me by Otama. I was like... We're 33 volumes deep on this cover story, and there's still more. Can we please leave Wano, please? Pretty please? It's been a long time. It's been 7 years. 7 years that we've been stuck in Wano. Okay. Wow, my legs made me veer off. Ronya, where are you going? You're going to fall. Ronya. What the? That's weird, but it's fine. Don't worry about me, Yelva. All good. No problem. This is nothing. Ronya. Huh? Come back, Ronya. It's dangerous. You'll fall into the underworld. Sommers, the first brat is about to fall. Perfect. Make sure all of Elbaf hears her voice. Man, these guys are messed up. I mean, I already pretty much knew that, but golly. Alright, if in 30 seconds you still haven't made a decision, I'll drop the first kid. Jarul of the Bearded Mountain. Order the teachers to set fire to the school and the library. He's crazy. Lord Jarul, this library holds texts passed down from past generations for millennia. But their lives come first. Do you even realize what you're saying? The problem isn't their demands, it's the decision we have to make. Whether to submit to these guys or not. Are you suggesting we just let our kids die? Isn't there anyone nearby? We must put an end to this absurd game at all costs. Chopper, you stay here, huh? It's too risky to face them before we understand their powers. In that case, but I can't control my emotions anymore. Yeah, Chopper, you stay behind. You are basically a complete non-combatant at this point. You can't do anything. You're useless. Chopper just sucks. He's awful. Why is he still here? What does he do? He's just wasting time, wasting panel space. He's just a big nothing. He's not even a big nothing. He's a little nothing. He's a little nothing with a big footprint. I bet you he's not even going to be able to treat Saul's wounds. Oh boy. If only Law were here. Law was a real doctor. You want to kill kids. You're insane. Even the world's worst criminals don't take children as hostages. Yeah, cut the sob story. It doesn't affect me, bastard. Frankie, I'll join in too. Of course, do what needs to be done. Let's go together. Let's split into 2 groups, because that's what we do in One Piece. One will fight the monsters, and the other will save the kids. To arms. Ooh, we got another cute giant girl. Let's quickly head to the arboreal route number 8. Bring the ships. Hang to Route 8. Also, when you burn the school and library, no book should be taken out, simply because what we want to destroy is your culture and your history. Cien fleur, crospedia. Whatever that means. Okay. Blorf. That's a great soundbite. Blorf. Alright, one of these gods' knights has finally caught some hands. Robin, are you okay? Be careful, we don't know much about them yet. Yes, I know. Cuatro Manos. I recognize you. You're Nico Clutch. Ooh, man. That is rough. Of course, he's probably just gonna regenerate, because that's what they do, because they all have Emu's crazy power. That doesn't mean that's pleasant, though. I wonder if it is possible to wear them down through sheer pain and suffering. Well done, Robin, you broke them. These guys are immortal. We can't beat them. Can you hear me, Elbaf? 20 seconds left until the first hostage falls. Damn, he's a zombie too. Huh? Oh, Robin. Hey, what are you doing? Don't tell me you're in love with me, huh? Seriously? You actually jumped? It's probably a clone, actually. It's probably Robin's clone. You trying to kill yourself or what? Your feelings touch me, but I don't want to follow you to the afterlife. Robin, what is she doing now? Idiot, did she plan to drag him down too? I know perfectly that you're immortal, and that you're a thorn man. If those damn invisible thorns disappear, we can save the kids. Ooh, bravo. So you thought that by throwing me off the cliff, you put the kids out of reach of my power? Not bad, girl. Oh no, it's exactly what I expected. Yep. Sucka. She vanished. She really planned everything. So classy, Robin. I've got goosebumps all over. Damn, even a knife can't cut these ropes. That means we'll also have to deal with that girl to get out of here? Only 10 seconds left. It's him again. I need an answer, Jarl. Oh, he's got the thorns. He's freaking Spider-Man. Gunko, where is that coming from? That big thorn vine thing is coming out of a very sus place. Gunko, make them hear the girl's voice. Say something. Master Jarul, Ronya, I love school. I have lots of friends there. Run, Ronya, that's my daughter. And I love the library too. We'll get you out of there. Because the books teach us so much about the world. And my teachers... Aww. I'm always about to, burst into tears. This is, a really cute and sad moment. And my teachers taught me that we shouldn't bother people. And that we shouldn't do things they don't like. If the school and library have to disappear so I can survive, I think that will bother everyone. That's why it's better if I fall. Master Ja Rule, don't worry about me. I've always been lucky. It's gonna be okay. 2, 1. Anj, set the school on fire. Ja Rule-sama, and burn the library. Understood. Yeah, you look ridiculous, Nico Robin. Stop it. Get out here, Robin. Do something. Oh, golly. Oh, he's big spiky bat. And, what? Yeah, huh? What? My arm isn't regenerating. It's been a while. Scoper, oh my gosh, he's freaking out. Oh no, that put the fear of the real god into him. Oh my gosh. He's actually kind of getting messed up for real. So Gabon knows something. He knows a way to shut this down. I knew there had to be a way, right? Because I don't remember if I talked about this before, but I thought about it, and how does this resolve? Because it's hard to believe it ends the same way that it does that Egghead resolves, where it's just like, these guys regenerate, they're invincible, nothing we can do, we just gotta run away. Like, that would be so lame. That would be such a huge L if we just had to run again. There has to be some sort of counter to this. We've got to fight these guys. These guys are very clearly end game dudes. There's just no way we can move forward with these guys in the way. So there's got to be some way to turn it off. Turn off the regeneration buff. And Scoper seems to know something about this. I wonder, with the way the Roger Pirates shook everything up and really disturbed the world order, I wonder if these guys have maybe ever run into God's Knights or the Gorosei or anything like that. Because they were there at God Valley. And they may or may not have run into God's Knights. And who also may or may not have had this power. So, if they figured something out about this weird ability, it'd be really nice to learn about it now. Now, this says that there's no break next week, but I'm using a different... this is like not my usual translator, not my usual website, not my usual anything. So, I'm going to have to fact check whether or not One Piece is going to be on break next week. Because I heard someone else say, expect it to go on another break. So when it doesn't say that there's no break next week, I kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. So, if you've been around for a while, you know how this does. If there's a One Piece chapter, we stream. If there's not, we don't. And the best way to know one way or another is to make sure and follow me on all my little socials down here. The one I update the most would probably be Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I call it Twitter because I absolutely believe that at some point Elon's going to realize that he made a whoopsie and X is a stupid name for a website, and he's totally going to renege on all of this. It's just going to go back to the old Twitter branding or a new version of it. So, yeah. You can keep up that way. So, the next stream, assuming that there is another chapter next week, would be the 18th. And then if not, it's probably going to be on the 25th instead. We usually stream Sundays at 1. It's just tomorrow's Mother's Day. It was fun last year when I came up with the cool idea of taking something I made, taking a little bit of artwork I made for my mom when I was 6 in first grade, and we all made little placemats for our moms. I made a painting that was an updated version of that design, which I really liked. I actually really, really liked that stream. You guys should check that out. But this year, no such thing. I went ahead and got her just a little foot warmer. And I got it real early. It's real nice, too. It's arched. It's ergonomic. It's comfortable. It can go up and down. Which is good for her because my mom's kind of a shorty. And we may or may not be having a Mother's Day lunch together. She wants to cook up me and my dad a roast for dinner. So that's how I'm gonna be spending it tomorrow. So I really didn't want to stream on that day. So either the 18th or the 25th, I'll update on my socials. Hopefully, sometimes I'm not good about that, but I try. And hopefully, the next time we stream, I'll be feeling a whole lot better. Golly, I hope so. But until then, if you could leave a like on this video, that would be really appreciated. A subscription even more so, and feel free to comment. Tell me what you thought about the new MTG Final Fantasy cards. Tell me how big a Final Fantasy fan you are, or an MTG fan. You can tell me if these cards live up to your expectation or if they're just big doo-doo. Some of them I'm not too hot about, but some of them I think are really, really solid. Or you can tell me what you thought about the new One Piece chapter. Or just anything. Or you can give me ideas for my own little fan-made Final Fantasy MTG set that I've been cooking up on my phone. We'll try. I always say that because, you know, with the illness and the 2 other jobs that I work, that's all I can really promise is I will try to cook up my own Final Fantasy MTG set and beat Wizards to the punch and make that into my own spicy little bit of content. I say saucy and spicy. When I say spicy content, it sounds like something adult. Whatever. I also want to say just thank you for all the support so far, because every like, every watch, every comment and subscription, it all helps push us on to bigger and better things. And I do have a lot of plans in the future. How soon I can bring those plans to fruition, I can't say for sure, but it'd be nice. I'm trying to find more time and allocate more energy to this channel because it is very important to me. I know it's been slow going, but like it is not by my own choice. It's a little tough right now, but bear with me. This channel's gonna be big. I've got a lot of confidence. Until then, though, y'all. Oh no! I forgot to hit record. So this whole channel, I always like to record my streams. I said channel, the stream. I always like to record my streams because that's just way easier to edit when it's like that. But I totally forgot to hit the button, so I'm gonna have to go back and probably just record the One Piece parts so that I can like edit it into like a little bit of One Piece content. Where that's what I'm meaning to do is like take all of my Egghead reads and just turn them into one video. Take all of my Elbaf reads and just turn them into one video. That kind of thing. Just all the highlights. But that's gonna be it for now. I think now it's I gotta see about like taking some more meds. Maybe doing some editing. Try and work on the presentation because again, like some stuff like the intermission screen is not updated. My Twitch channel still needs updating, I think. What do I look like on Twitch? Do I still have the old Seafoam branding? Yeah, I've still got the old logo and the old brand and everything. And even on YouTube, I think I still have the old watermark. So I gotta tweak all of that. I'm going to tweak that. Although those updates will probably be short-lived because I'm already brainstorming other ideas for like another update to the look of this channel. But I really want to buy a tablet because I want to do more like hand-drawn stuff. I've got some high-concept designs that I just can't do with a mouse and keyboard. That would be too rough. Like this that you're already looking at, it's a little scuffed. It's why I don't even consider this to be like a 1.0. This is like 0.2 on Cross H Productions. Like these rough ideas that you see here, they still need a lot of work to try and give them some real pizzazz, give them some real polish. But that's all coming later because I already dropped plenty of dosh on the new mic and the new camera, so I'm gonna start saving up for one a drawing pad and two a little stream deck. I keep accidentally almost saying Steam Deck. I gotta remember Steam Deck and Stream Deck are two different things. Um, but don't take that as me like e-begging. I do not ever want to be an e-beggar. This is not me asking for monetary support. I just got to be wiser with my finances. That's all. So don't get it twisted. I don't want to be one of those guys. You know. But whatever. That'll do for this stream, and y'all have a good day, and happy Mother's Day. We'll catch you later. Hopefully in better health and better spirits, better everything. See ya.